will transform the travel experience. This is the future of Amtrak.
For decades, Americans have been waiting for a train that feels modern, faster, smoother, and just better all around. And now, there's a new one on the way. Amtrak's Airo. It's being hyped as a big step forward, with better comfort and tech upgrades. One of the places it could make a real difference is the Amtrak Cascades corridor, which runs through Oregon, Washington, and up to British Columbia. But here's the big question. Can this new train fix what's been holding the Cascades line back and give riders the kind of experience they've been waiting for? And what are some measures being considered and taken by the relevant parties? Let's dive into today's episode of Great Trainspeed. The Pacific Northwest is set to become the first region in the United States to roll out the Amtrak Airo train sets, marking a monumental leap forward for rail travel along the Cascades corridor. At Siemens' Sacramento facility, production is well underway, with the first Airo train set scheduled for delivery in 2025 for testing and passenger service targeted for early 2026. All 8 train sets will continue arriving throughout that year, gradually building a modern fleet for the corridor. This rollout aligns with Washington's 2019 to 2040 rail plan and the 2024 Cascade Service Development Plan, which call for modern equipment, expanded intercity service, and improved reliability to meet long-term goals. Safety is also a core focus, with the Airo trains meeting the latest crashworthiness standards and replacing older equipment flagged by the NTSB following the 2017 derailment. While initial travel times will remain similar, passengers will notice immediate benefits in comfort, reliability, and sustainability, thanks to features like comfortable seating, onboard Wi-Fi, charging ports, and reduced emissions. In business class, passengers will enjoy a 2+1 seating layout, giving the option of solo seating with additional space, while each train set will seat over 300 passengers, expanding capacity beyond the older Talgo sets currently in service. From an operational perspective, the introduction of the Amtrak Airo fleet is set to improve reliability and maintainability across the Cascades corridor. The current fleet relies on aging Talgo Series 6 and 8 train sets, some over 20 years old, and older Amtrak coaches used in interim service, which have contributed to delays and mechanical issues. The arrival of the Airo fleet will bring fewer mechanical failures and less downtime, allowing passengers to experience greater confidence in on-time performance. Federal officials have noted that these train sets will enable Amtrak to operate more safely, efficiently, and reliably across its network. For Cascades riders, this means fewer cancellations, fewer service disruptions, and a smoother travel experience. Maintenance demands will also decrease as the Airo coaches use standardized, widely available components aligned with other Amtrak services, unlike the niche parts required for the Talgo sets. This will simplify parts sourcing and logistics, while the brand new warrantied fleet will defer heavy maintenance costs for years, reducing operational headaches for Amtrak and its state partners. With all these upgrades, riding on this new train could be an amazing experience. But in reality, will it seriously improve the corridor?
If you typically travel by rail, there's an exciting change coming to Amtrak for commuters in the midst.
One of the main perks of the Airo trains is that they run cleaner and more efficiently with a diesel-electric setup. The new Siemens Charger engines meet strict EPA standards, which means they cut down on pollution a lot. Compared to older diesel engines, these Tier 4 Chargers reduce pollution particles by about 90 to 95%, and nitrogen oxides emissions by around 89%. Amtrak Airo will create a lot less air pollution, which helps improve air quality along the route and in station areas, supporting local environmental goals. Plus, the engines are more fuel efficient, using less fuel per mile. And they have cool features like regenerative braking, which saves energy from braking to power the train's systems, saving even more fuel. However, even with these environmental perks, there's a bit of a catch. Since the Cascades route isn't electrified, the Airo trains will only run on diesel. While the Airo series does have versions that can switch between electric and diesel, or even run on batteries in other places, the lack of electrification here means they can't take advantage of those options. This makes it harder to fully tap into the environmental benefits that come with cleaner energy sources. The diesel engines might run on renewable biodiesel, which is a step toward reducing carbon emissions, and both Washington and Oregon are interested in this. But even with that, the overall impact is limited by the fact that the infrastructure isn't set up for full-on electrification. So, while the Airo train sets are a step in the right direction, they won't reach their full environmental potential on this route because of the infrastructure constraints. The Amtrak Airo train sets are built for a top speed of 125 miles per hour, a significant upgrade over the current Cascades equipment. Ideally, this would reduce travel times across the Pacific Northwest corridor. However, the actual speed on the Cascades route is limited by the track conditions and regulations, with a maximum of 79 miles per hour on most segments. Since there are no major track upgrades or electrification planned yet, the new Airo trains will likely operate at similar speeds and schedules as the current Talgo Series 8 sets. While the Airo trains offer improvements in acceleration and handling, thanks to their more powerful Siemens Charger locomotives, the benefits may be less noticeable in terms of travel time savings. The faster acceleration could help keep schedules on track, especially on routes with frequent stops, but it won't lead to faster overall travel. Additionally, the Airo design eliminates the need for lengthy locomotive changeovers on some routes. But since the Cascades route already runs entirely on diesel, no such changeovers are required. In the end, while the Airo trains are faster in theory, the current infrastructure means that the travel time reductions won't be as dramatic as expected at first. Even with all the improvements that the Airo train sets bring, Amtrak Cascades still faces a significant challenge due to sharing tracks with freight companies like BNSF and Union Pacific. Last year, Amtrak Cascades had a 56% rating of on-time performance. The on-time performance standard is 80%, so even if the speed and all the amenities are good, they still have to face problems when it comes to dealing with rail companies. Specifically in 2023, Amtrak Cascades trains were on time only 55% of the time, which is far below the 80% on-time performance standard. A major reason for this low number is the delays caused by freight trains. In fact, freight train interference alone was responsible for 14.9%, 278 hours, of all delays in 2023. Other delays were due to factors like passenger train interference, slowdowns from weather, raised bridges, and congestion. Because BNSF controls both freight and passenger train movements along the Cascades route from its dispatch center in Fort Worth, Texas, they play a key role in determining which trains take priority. Even though Amtrak is trying to improve its performance, freight trains often get priority, which can push Amtrak's trains off schedule. While WSDOT, Washington State Department of Transportation, has negotiated contracts with BNSF to address these issues, BNSF is still responsible for minimizing delays caused by freight trains. If the delays fall below the agreed-upon on-time goal of 88%, BNSF is required to submit corrective action plans to help fix the issue. But despite these agreements, freight companies could still cause delays for Amtrak Airo trains, limiting their potential for improved service and punctuality. So, while the Airo trains bring cleaner, faster service, freight train interference, and the current infrastructure could continue to cause significant delays, keeping the overall benefits from reaching their full potential. Do you think Amtrak Airo can revolutionize the corridor? Drop 1 if you agree, and 0 if you don't. So, are there any initiatives from the government? The Washington Department of Transportation has been planning a call for more trips and faster travel times, tied to investments like new sidings, signals, and higher speed segments. Recently passed House Bill 1837 sets a target of 14 daily Seattle-Portland round trips and 5 daily Seattle-Vancouver trips, aiming to double current service levels. Meanwhile, Amtrak's Sodo Yard in Seattle is preparing to host the Airo fleet, ensuring infrastructure readiness. Although the Airo train sets can reach 125 miles per hour, Cascades will initially operate at current speeds, mostly capped at 79 miles per hour due to track and regulatory limits. There are ongoing studies to explore incremental speed upgrades to 90 miles per hour and an ultra-high-speed corridor with a $50 million federal grant secured for planning. Advocates are calling for 110-mile-per-hour segments to better align with the Airo's potential. But major high-speed projects remain long-term goals. For now, the Airo fleet will improve comfort, reliability, and environmental performance, while aligning with Washington and Oregon's long-term vision for faster, cleaner rail travel when infrastructure is ready to support higher speeds. And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed the ride with us today. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you at the next one. Take care.